Welcome back to the Going for Three pod. As always, I'm one of the hosts, Chris Collins, aka Hot Text Collins, and today I have with me Percy Thomas, aka PTP, and Tony Farr, aka G. What's going on, fellas?
What's happening, brother?
Not much, man.
Chilling.
Well, today we got some good topics on the slate today, man. We'll get right into it with some NBA news. The NBA announced their All-Star starters. We're going to talk about that a little bit, and then we'll go into our reserves who have not been announced yet, but we have our own opinions about who we think, should be the reserves.
Mm-hmm.
So in the East, the Eastern Conference starters are Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid, Trae Young, and DeMar DeRozan. And then in the West, we have LeBron James, Nikola Jokic, Andrew Wiggins, Steph Curry, and Ja Morant. I guess I'll just start off by asking you guys, are there any surprises to you on this list?
I mean, I guess technically Wiggins is a surprise. I mean, he's playing well. I didn't think he would be voted that much to the point of being a starter.
Right.
I mean, other than that, no.
I feel like none of it surprises me, honestly. I mean, looking at like the positions, as far as the West goes for forwards, not that many forwards that are standing out in the West right now that weren't named like Paul George or like
Kawhi,
Kawhi Leonard. So it's not that many small forwards that you can pinpoint start over Wiggins, and plus like, he's been playing well, like you said. So
yeah,
like
I just thought it was interesting where they would place. And we'll get into this likely more, but just where they would place Anthony Edwards, because I know they played. I feel like a good amount of minutes with like Patrick Beverly, D'Angelo Russell, and Anthony Edwards all on the floor at the same time. So I mean, in that lineup, ideally Ant would be a 3, but I mean that was interesting. And then I guess for me, the other one, which I mean, I'm not mad that he's a starter, but I thought it'd be James, Trae Young.
Yeah,
just because I mean James, although he's not averaging that scoring output that we're used to, he is either leading the NBA in assists or like second. Like I think him and Chris Paul are the only two players that are over 10 assists a game. So and the Nets were a higher seed, and they still are a higher seed, but I feel like at the time they were even higher. But
they were like top 3 at the time when he probably was like peaking at it, highest rated in assists.
But yeah, like you guys said, other than that, I mean, it's a bunch of the usual suspects, honestly.
Yeah.
KD, Steph Curry. Ja Morant gets his first start, rightfully so, because he has been a monster.
Balling out his mind.
Yeah, he looks amazing. He looks. I feel like I've said this before, but I love how like he doesn't remind me of like a Steph Curry or a Dame Lillard. Like I really get like a early 2000s guard from him, like a Steve Francis, AI type, like Baron Davis. Like, I'm just gonna attack. I got that swagger with me, like I really get that vibe from him. I love to see it. So
yeah.
Other than that, I guess we'll get right into our reserves. So, like I said before, the reserves have not been released, but these are the players who we think are deserving of those All-Star reserve spots. So, who's going first with their list?
I'll go first.
All right.
Okay, so in no particular order, and I guess we'll give our lists, and then we can talk about anybody who stands out. Or okay, so my reserves for the East: LaMelo, Jimmy Butler, Harden, Levine, Darius Garland, and Jared Allen.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
I thought about it. Yeah, I gave him a lot of thought.
And the last one, I'm gonna go with. I did have in parentheses because I really considered it. I really considered Bridges, but I'm gonna go Van Fleet.
Yeah, I think so too.
I wanted to put Bridges in. I did, but I love the way he's playing. But more than likely, West, Luca, D Book, Donovan, DeJounte, Chris Paul, Cat, and Rudy.
Interesting.
Can you say that one more time?
Okay. Devin Booker, Luca,
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell, DeJounte Murray, Chris Paul, Cat, and Rudy Gobert.
Okay, yeah, got you. I thought. Never mind. I'll say when I get to mine. PTB.
All right. Guess I'll go with the East first. So I have Darius Garland, Chris Middleton.
Oh. Okay, yeah. Respect for the guy who's been there.
Yeah. I had Domantas Sabonis.
Okay.
James Harden, Jimmy Butler, and Bam Adebayo. And for the West, I have De'Aaron Fox, Karl Anthony Towns, surprisingly, Anthony Davis, Devin Booker, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Donovan Mitchell, and Luka Doncic.
Interesting. Okay, alrighty. Well, for my list on the East, I had to be quite frank, I'm pretty sure me and Gramps have like damn the same. I have actually we got one difference I think, but I have Zach LaVine, Darius Garland, LaMelo Ball, James Harden, Jimmy Butler, Fred VanVleet, and I was choosing between Vooch and Hero, but somebody you said Chris Middleton, and that's a nice name too. I think he's in my conversation. I didn't think about him at all for some reason. I think let me see. It's just tough. I think I'm gonna give it to Hero, man. I really do. The Heat they've had a lot of injuries. I feel like he's been very consistent for them as far as scoring wise. Jimmy Butler's been in and out of the lineup. Bam, to me, he's just missed too many games to be in the conversation. He would be if he had played, but he hasn't played. I think he's played like 20 something games. And Hero's just been consistent for them, averaging over 20, likely the sixth man of the year. I just think he deserves it. So yeah, I guess I go with Hero for my last one. And then for the West, I have Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell, Luka Doncic, Pat, Rudy Gobert, and I was deciding between Ant and DeJounte. I think I'll go with DeJounte just because it doesn't feel right giving the Timberwolves 2 All-Stars when they're like they're in the playoffs now, I think, but like it just doesn't feel right. So yeah, I guess that's my list.
Yeah. I had DeJounte over Booker, but something didn't feel right about that.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah. Devin Booker to me deserves some MVP talk, but no one wants to give it to him.
Yeah. So he should have been a starter, honestly, when it comes to the West. Like he's been getting disrespected for the past few years.
True, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, you'd have to put him over Steph Curry, and nobody would like that because Ja has to be in there. Ja has to be a starter the way he's playing.
Yeah,
but Steph with his slump, but people don't care about that. Like they would be up in arms if Steph wasn't a starter.
Because I would say they would have been warranted based off of for people that actually are seeing what he's doing. Like he's been having some games where like his shooting numbers look like birthday dates. So it's like
no facts. Look like dog shit.
Yeah, so if they were gonna be like, okay, Booker, who's averaging probably dating or around,
yeah, they're pretty
30.
close to. Yeah, they're close to the same. Their points is 25 and 26 is what they are. Is what they are both at right now. D Book at 25, Curry at 26.
Yeah.
But shit. Steph started the year, wasn't he? He was like tied with KD for a while
for points
for
per game.
scoring. Yeah, so that should just let us know like how his struggles have really been. Like this is like his worst shooting slump of his career. And granted, like he'll still have great games because he's still a great player. But overall this year, like he's shooting has been wildly inconsistent.
Yeah. It's just been like it's been a little bit overshadowed just because of the fact that like the Warriors team has just been so well rounded with Clay being back,
Right. Andrew Wiggins
Payton,
playing well, Jordan playing well. Yeah, so they have a bunch of other like guys that are stepping up phenomenally.
They catch him a lot, so it's like you kind of it goes under the radar, so people really don't see him struggling, but still warranted.
Yeah. I guess you had I guess I want to talk about your lists. I guess I don't know. I feel like me and Gramps' list had the same. Or actually, I couldn't give the Hornets 2 All-Stars. I just couldn't. I didn't feel comfortable doing it. I mean, I think Ball and Bridges are both deserving, but I do think that if you take Bridges off, I mean, they have a lot of those wings that could kind of fill in Kelly Oubre, Gordon Hayward, even PJ Washington. But if you take LaMelo off, I feel like he just has a bigger impact on that team. Then I guess the Pacers are just too shitty for me right now. I can't do it. Especially because like he's had better years also. You know what I mean? Like he's had years where he averaged more points before, I think. So he's still hooping and he's still all-star talent for sure, but I mean the league is just getting stacked. And then I had to give Fred VanVleet some respect because I mean they were dead in the water for a minute and now they're in the playoffs. And they're playing well. So I had to finally give Fred his respect because he's been fringe for what 3 years now.
About that.
But not on the door.
Yeah, so I had to reward him this time, man. I had to. Thought about Pascal a little bit as well, but I think
Pascal
right now, and I think right now the engine to the team is Freddie. Although Pascal is also playing well at this point in time as well. But it's a lot of talent in the league.
Yeah, Freddie's the pulse of that Toronto team right now. Without him, like, scoring, passing, a lot of things go through him at that point.
And I also thought about Jaylen Brown as well, but I guess I couldn't get. It was kind of the same thing with like the Hornets and stuff. Like I just didn't feel comfortable giving them 2 All-Stars. The talent is there. Crowded. Yeah,
it's a lot of good shooting guards in the East now, like statistically.
Yeah, if they were higher up for sure. Like if they were like where the Cavs were, I would be completely fine with it. But yeah, who had Jared Allen? Is that you, PTV?
That was me.
That was
you.
That was me. It was tough. It was tough. I really wanted to. I the entire time I thought about it, I was like, I should Sabonis, but I did, admittedly, I'm not going to lie, I took into account how bad the team is and how much of a surprise or just how much of a revelation the Cavaliers have been and how well Jared Allen's been playing. And I was just like, yeah.
Definitely a revelation. Definitely a surprise. Definitely a revelation. I didn't think they were going to be where they are. I mean, they're 11 games over 500. That's
like they were going
to. They're a real team.
Jared Allen looks like a franchise centerpiece for a center.
Yeah,
he doesn't really shoot, so it's like, hey, that just goes to show just how talented he is at it, like what his specific role is, protecting and scoring at the rim.
I would also think their relationship complement each other very well. The two Cavaliers players that are in All-Star consideration, Garland and Allen. I think they really benefit each other. Good finisher around the rim, good roller, and honestly a good decision maker. Like out of that post like free throw line area. So yeah, and then obviously Darius is an up and coming point guard. Can really run the offense. Can shoot. Just a very well-rounded offensive point guard at this point in time.
Yeah.
But yeah. Did were there any other surprises? I guess, or any other things? I suppose that we thought about. Did we all have Cat?
I did.
I'm pretty sure we did.
Yeah. I think we all picked Cat.
No, PTP didn't have Cat. That's what it sounded like.
I had him. He was my second guy.
Oh, you had him?
Yeah.
Second guy. Did everybody have both the Suns guards?
I did.
Or did somebody not have Chris Paul?
I did. I had both.
You didn't have CP3. Who is your West again?
Mine?
Yeah.
Well, I had like De'Aaron, Cat.
Oh, okay, that's who. Yeah, I didn't hear that one.
Yeah.
Fox, right?
Yeah. I feel like Fox has been playing really. Like, it's kind of like in the same boat with like me having like SGA. It's like I just feel like they're having. Like,
SGA too.
Yeah, like they're just having coming in seasons right now, and I feel like they deserve it. It's like SGA's carrying the Thunder. Aaron is carrying it with Halliburton over in Sacramento.
Where are they carrying them to?
The future.
I'm just joking. No, I mean,
they carrying it to the first round pick.
Yeah, I really didn't consider either of them. Although the stats are there, but I feel like probably the reason why I didn't, because I know last year, I know we hadn't did this last year, but I know last year I definitely considered them. But they're both having like worse seasons than they did last year, which is the thing. Like they're both points are down, percentages are down. Kings, their wins are down. So, so you Chris Paul. I'm trying to figure out who you didn't have that we had or that I had. I guess you had SGA and De'Aaron Fox. Did you have Rudy Gobert?
Nah. I think 80 was in the place that I would have probably had Rudy at.
You said who?
I had Davis in the position that I probably would have had Rudy at for his reserves.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. The stats are there. I don't know. I don't know the game
games played
limit. Yeah, I mean he's at 30, so I mean that if he makes it in, that has to be like the very cusp of that.
Like bare minimum for that.
Yeah, but shit, that might be too low. I don't know, but that's interesting though. Interesting list, guys. You know, I feel like I had the best list, but that's okay.
So that's what we're doing.
It's all right. I mean, you know, you should believe in your list, and vice versa. You guys should believe you have the best list too. It just so happens that Chris has the best list, but that's okay. It's all right. It's a great mix of just good young talent with deserving bets. You know what I mean? Like it's greatness. You know,
it's great.
Perfectly placed importance on winning a little bit, but not fully. You know, this is great stuff. Great stuff. I guess who would be you guys' biggest snubs? I know we kind of talked a lot in depth already, but like, who would be your biggest snubs that you guys didn't include?
Well, Sabonis for sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I can't say Lowry because he's hurt. Because I think if Lowry wasn't hurt, he'd be in. Yeah. But Sabonis, I said I considered Bridges, but I wouldn't necessarily, considering who's going to get in. Mm-hmm. I can't really say it's a snub, but I think he would be deserving if.
I'm surprised I didn't hear you. I'm surprised. I feel like I didn't hear you consider Jaylen Brown.
Position, and he has missed some time with injury. I did take that into consideration. I am objective.
True, but I mean, he still played almost.
He's yeah.
Man, Gramps not a homer no more. That's crazy.
We're changing.
Objective. I'm being objective. Position, and he has missed some time, and Celtics are just above 500, whatever it is. I took all that into consideration when I made my picks. I mean, I did. I was objective. JT's a starter, so he's in.
You got one.
You did get one. Yeah. Well, what about you, PTP? What are your biggest snubs?
Ironically, off the top of my head, I thought Bradley Beal, mainly just because I don't know the Wizards.
They were number one at a certain point.
like the Wizards was really good. We're doing really well at some point. Beal's starting to kind of build out the game a little bit more. Like he's passing more. I think he had his career high in assists last month or 2 months ago. I think it's like he's starting to like round out his game a little bit more. And I feel like him and Booker are always the two guards that just never like probably gonna start during their prime years for an All-Star game. So
yeah.
it sucks because I mean Beal be averaging 30 and it just never works out for him.
Yeah.
I guess for me, in the West, I thought about Ant and I thought about DeJounte. So I feel like those would probably be some snubs. DeJounte's having a great season. And
yeah,
I mean, the Spurs aren't the best, but they're not too far out of a playing position. They're 2 games behind Portland, and Portland looks like hot garbage right now. So
they're a little
if they can put together a run, they can definitely get into that playing position to get slaughtered by the Suns or the Warriors in the or the first round if they make the play-in. But the playoffs, that matters. So and then the East, for me, the East, I was after it was mentioned to me because I for some reason I hadn't thought about him, but yeah, Chris Middleton and I would say Chris Middleton, Pascal, and Jaylen Brown. Would probably be my snubs. I'm thinking. I would probably say they're my snubs for sure.
Wouldn't surprise me if Ant and LaMelo did become reserves though, just for the sake of like building more anticipation for the game itself. Because I know they do that sometimes. Like,
but both teams are in the playoffs, and the both individuals, their stats are there, and so. Then they have a pretty big responsibility on both playoff teams. LaMelo is like the primary ball handler, and it's like the 1B or 1A at times to Cat. So
yeah, I was about to say like I don't know what order it would be in because he's not really like their primary ball handler, but as far as like scoring, it kind of goes. But it bounces back more between him and Cat, and then D'Lo is just like that third guy. Beasley is like
the bench scorer,
2C, something like that, kinda.
Well, it's a good talk. Good talk. Great list. I'm interested to see if whoever's list is more accurate.
Probably mine.
What do the coach? What do the coaches think? I think the coach is going to side with Chris. Just throwing that out there, but that's okay.
Well, your list is just about the same as mine, so
but it's slightly different.
It is.
It's the difference between a 90 and a 100, and a 90 is good, but 100 is perfect. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. G.
All right. Well, when my list is correct, then I'll
take your hand and I'll say, "Good job, sir." if and when. But that's all we got for the NBA. We're moving on to the NFL. It was a pretty impactful and monumental weekend for some. Complete devastation and heartbreak for others. It was a week of up and downs. A weekend of up and downs. AFC Championship games. The Chiefs played the Bengals in the AFC Championship game, and they lost to the Bengals. Was it 27-24?
Correct.
Yep.
And then in the last game of that day, the Rams were victorious against the 49ers, 20-17. So I guess we'll start with the first game of the day, Kansas City and the Bengals. Bengals walked into Arrowhead and walked away with a dub.
Yeah, they did.
They sure did. Let's talk about it.
As I predicted, by the way.
Yeah, I said PTB, go ahead, go first, so you can get your flowers and get out the way.
Okay, I just wanted to let it be known that a lot of things I pointed out were valid. Jamar Chase, he had a big day. I'm not gonna lie, he had a day. As one of the commentators will say, he had a day.
Did he?
I mean, reception wise, he had a day.
How many receptions did he have?
I think he had like 3 less than Higgins.
Oh.
I know Higgins had like.
Higgins was fucking us up.
Yeah, but I'm looking this up. But yeah, more or less what I was thinking going into the game, as it was stated like prior to this, that was more or less they were thinking like, oh no, they had the same amount of catches. It was 6 and 6. But people like the whole idea was stop Jamar and you take away pieces of the offense. But in reality, T. Higgins is still a big body. You know, he gonna get his catches too, and he still fights for yards. He gets the yak as well. Mixon ran the ball at a pretty. He didn't really score on the ground, but he ran the ball at a.
He was extremely effective.
Ran the ball at a good clip. Did his thing, and then also Joe Shiesty. You know what I'm saying? Breaking pocket, collapsing on him, making it out the play, keeping the plays going with his feet, throwing dots. Like, hey, it was that type of day. It looked dark in the beginning. 21-3, Bengals was down, but like I said, man, hey, the prediction god, as I said a while ago, it always reigns supreme. It just reigns supreme. Chiefs did they actually like Mahomes kind of like
did the Bengals win the game or did the Chiefs lose the game? I mean, there's always.
I say it's a mix.
What's more? What's more?
Bengals win the game. I say it's more Bengals win the game.
Okay.
Overall, in my opinion.
What do you have to say about
God.
bloodshed and Arrowhead? And this time,
hey, look, yeah, I rode with the Chiefs.
I just said
wasn't a bad decision.
You said Chiefs by double digits. Don't forget that part.
Who did?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, G said.
I mean,
you said Chiefs by double.
It was there.
It was there.
It was there.
They had us in the first half. Literally, they had us in the first half.
It looked like it looked good.
One of the worst meltdowns in recent memory.
All credit to the Bengals. They did their thing. Joe Shiesty did his thing. That all their way. I don't know if that's gonna stick. I don't know if that's gonna stick with me, but
It sounded so weird for you to say.
Is this a white thing? Is that what it is? Because I'm white. I'm old and white. Is that what the deal is here?
It's just bad you said Shiesty. Like it's just.
You could call him. You could call him Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Joe Burrow.
That's another one. Yeah.
Yeah, like got all the credit to the Bengals. Their weapons performed. Joe played, Joe Shiesty played a magnificent end of the first half and second half. The Bengals defense showed up in the second half when they needed to. Honestly, though, I hate to talk about the Chiefs again, but yes, the Bengals did what they needed to do to win the game, and they took advantage of the opportunities given to them. But I'd have to lean a little more towards the Chiefs lost the game than the Bengals won it. The Chiefs defense didn't keep the Bengals out of the end zone. They didn't stop key third downs. Mahomes threw 2 picks. Admittedly, they weren't terrible picks, but they were still picks.
That first one was god awful. I don't know what you said.
First one
was egregious, boy.
That's the reason why I would say Bengals won the game, because both his picks,
he threw it straight to him.
Yeah, like both his picks were very much forced. It wasn't like Mahomes just threw a blind pass, more or less.
First one was so bad. That's such an ill-mannered decision.
He put it.
That's a bad decision.
Well.
They were both. He threw it straight to the defender. Like it literally hit his hands, and he caught it because
yeah, he was right.
threw it straight to him.
Yeah.
And then the other one, you're throwing to a double covered Tyreek because you're actually I'm gonna wait. It's not even my turn.
Yeah.
Well, but it hit Tyreek in the hand and then bounced off the defender and was picked. Tyreek could have caught that and in a lot of situations probably does catch that. But so in the end, Chiefs turned the ball over. Bengals defense, held up, gave up 3 points in the second half. The offense produced. They came through. Key third downs. They converted. They scored their points. McPherson is that kid. That kid's
boy Cole.
Yeah, that boy is balls of steel. That kid's got. I mean, he's just. I don't want to. I'm not saying like anything like that, but like I'm getting a Gostkowski, Vanderjack. I'm brain farting here.
Justin Tucker.
To a degree.
Respect for JT, the most accurate.
It is true.
He's the most accurate of all time, and he's Super Bowl winning, and he's hit a lot of clutch kicks too for the Ravens.
Plus McPherson, I think he's hit is it 11 straight or 10 straight?
I think it's 10.
Yeah, I think it's like 10 straight 10 straight field goals in general in crunch time. So
I mean, hell of a game. All credit to the Bengals. We'll talk about the bowl here shortly, I'm sure. But
where's the enthusiasm?
I was waiting on my turn.
I just said we'll talk about the bowl in a minute.
Yeah, I'm just waiting on my turn. That's all I'm waiting.
Go for it.
All right, man. Let's get right into it, man. All right. So let's call it what it is, man. This is a choke job by Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, and Patrick Mahomes. They shit the bed like they were fucking 2 years old and they had a can of beans. I don't even know, man. Like, yes, Joe played well, but he's played way better. This wasn't a crazy game for Joe. He made the plays that he needed to do for his team to win. But it wasn't like it wasn't Josh Allen last week type shit. You know what I mean? And Jamar Chase, obviously, is great. He's held to 6 for 54. Good day. T. Higgins capitalized on that attention, had a good game. But to sit here and act like the Chiefs don't shit the bed completely, even in the game of two halves, the Bengals who punted 3 times or punted I think twice, 2 or 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
No, twice. I want to say twice in the first half. They were still moving the ball. They were having good plays. A couple calls that actually didn't go their way also. So but they were moving the ball, playing well enough. You know what I mean? Like they just had a couple things that didn't go their way. I think one ball fell out of what's the tight end's name before he got hurt?
Uzama.
Yeah. I think he had dropped one. And a couple of like good plays made by the Chiefs, but like it wasn't like we were stopping their offense, or even that the Bengals offense wasn't completely out of whack. You know what I mean? Like defense was just playing well, but like Bengals were getting good looks at things. It was just, going back and forth. We were just, we were scoring. We offensively were playing great in the first half.
Yeah.
That last play at the end of the half, I can't explain why or how, but it broke Mahomes for the game. Seriously, it was a terrible decision, obviously, but it was a terrible gamble. Although not as bad, it's worse with hindsight. Terrible decision by Patrick to throw that. Terrible decision by Tyreek to just not run straight out of bounds. You got 2 people in front of you. You might be the only guy that might be able to make it out of bounds in time. You're not getting it. You're not scoring with 2 people right in front of you right there. Like you have nowhere to use your speed to get the angle. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, it'd be different if you were at a different position at the field. Okay, you got some space to work with and blow by guys, but like, they're like, I want to say they were within the 10. It might have been on like the 5. Like, you're not going to get it. You're not going to break any tackles. You're 5'9". Terrible decision. But that play broke Mahomes. And we I know, people want to talk about the Bengals defense, but there's a reason why someone like McCole Hardman, who doesn't speak or talk shit or have any type of like that type of news around him, why he's literally going up and like, hey, I'm open. The Bengals are running a single high safety for the majority of the game. The defense that most teams have been playing the Chiefs with all year has been the 2 high safety. That's what the Bucks ran in the Super Bowl when they were able to rush forward. And that's the defense that everybody's been saying that's, the Chiefs have to beat that. And we started beating that. But for some reason, with one safety on a team with Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, and McCole Hardman, who's fast as shit, for some reason we just couldn't. Patrick's just not throwing the ball. Like, there are so many guys open on so many plays. He's just not throwing the ball. Even like in the plays where he's getting sacked, he has like 8 seconds in the pocket. He's literally just running around. Like, bro, stand in the pocket and throw the ball. Like, what are you doing? And then on the other hand, Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy, who see their quarterback literally coming undone. Like, he is literally breaking down in front of our eyes. And in a game where both our running backs are averaging over 5 yards a carry, we don't run the ball in the second half nearly as much. And we don't run the ball at all in OT. Like, what sense does that make? And as much as I love Andy, and I do love Andy, he is susceptible to these bad, meltdowns. This is the third one in recent memory with the Chiefs. First one with Mahomes in the playoffs, but this is the third one in recent memory with the Chiefs in the playoffs. We blew a huge lead to Andrew Luck and with the Colts. Back with Alex Smith, we blew a huge lead to Marcus Mariota in the Tennessee Titans, where he literally catches his own pass and scores a touchdown. Pretty sure the game-winning touchdown. If that, shouts out to Darrell Reeves for not catching the ball and swatting it down right into his hands. But I have watched a lot of the plays in depth, like wide view, and the Bengals deserve credit for taking care of business when the opportunity presented itself, and it's not their. It absolutely is not their fault or their responsibility to pull the best out of the Chiefs or want the Chiefs to play their best ball. With that being said, Patrick Mahomes and the offensive coordinators and Andy Reid blew that game. And I really can't, like, there's so many opportunities. Even if you look at the last play of regulation, the one where he took not the last, but the third down, where he took a strip sack, there are 3 separate people open on that play. Passes that he takes in the first half. Travis Kelce's open on a cross, at a designed cross when the play starts. Jared McKinnon is open on an unscripted cross when the play breaks down. And then also, Byron Pringle is also open on a comeback route in the end zone. He doesn't throw it to any. He looks at all of them in the clip. He looks at every single receiver that's open. He doesn't throw it a single time. And I know he was so worried about not throwing an interception because he was just so out of whack that he literally just didn't want to make a mistake. But like, the game was there for the game was there for the taking. Right then and there, you just throw that ball right there. But man, hey, they're gonna have to sit with this. Joe did his job. Hey, bravo to him, especially for making those plays with his feet. I mean, Joe was already pretty athletic. He had that knee injury, but he looked pretty spry in those moments, getting away from Chris Jones multiple times, making plays. Like I said, making the plays that he needed to do at the time. His team didn't need him to go crazy, throw 400 yards, 5 touchdowns. But they needed him to make throws at key points. They needed him to extend plays with his legs, which he can do. And they played a great team. They played a great team game. But 2 things can be true: the Bengals can play well, and the Chiefs can blow the game. and both are true. To me, one more than the other because, I mean, we punted 4 times in the first half. And to your point, your earlier point, Gramps, I know I'm rambling now, but to your point, Gramps, earlier about the defense, about them not making key stops. I mean, in the second half, if your defense is on the field the majority of the time, which they were, I mean, we didn't punt it all in the first half. We punted 4 times. Or I'm pretty sure we didn't punt it all in the first half. We might have punted once. We punted either 3 or 4 times in the second half. So the defense is out there a lot. You know, I mean, and they had them to 3 points in the fourth quarter. I mean, yeah, they scored 11 in the third, but I don't feel comfortable blaming the defense. You know, like if the offense moves the ball, doesn't get 3 and outs, allows the defense to rest, maybe the Bengals don't get to 24. I mean, even 24 is, not a great defensive scoring game, but it's modest. So, I don't know.
That's
Chiefs
fair.
are going to have to Chiefs, and by the Chiefs, I really mean Andy, Eric, and Patrick are going to have to go and really I'm not saying change the philosophy or anything like that, but just take a look in the mirror, especially Andy for me, because players in general struggle. It happens. I think Patrick will be fine, but it's things like that, like when you see that, and when our running game is clicking, you have to put your job as a coach is to put your players in the best position to succeed. And at that time, the best position for Patrick to succeed was not throwing the ball as much. Maybe doing quicker, easier completions. Running the ball more. You know what I mean? Like all of that stuff. But he just continued to just make them throw the ball. Even when the Bengals have 7 in the box. They have 7 players in the box, and you're still throwing the ball. This is my last point I want to touch on. This is OT. Like I said, they have 7 players in the box. And when the play starts, 2 of the linebackers drop into coverage. So you really got 5 in the box when the play starts. And you know what we do? The first 2 plays, we throw to Demarcus Robinson. We throw the DeMar, not Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, or even Byron Pringle, or even McCole Hardman, who are all better than Demarcus Robinson. We throw to Demarcus Robinson. And then on the third play, when obviously it's a 3rd and long, and Patrick feels that he has to make something happen, he throws a 50-50 ball to Tyreek when he's off his game the whole game. And yes, it did hit Tyreek in the hands. Could he have caught it? Yes, but he's also double covered. And, could the guy have dropped the pick? Yeah, he could have. Did he catch it like a Madden player? Yes, he did. That motherfucker touched his hand and it stuck like glue. I said, that shit is crazy. Great play by him to make a heads up play because that was impressive. But I just don't understand why we didn't run the ball in that situation. Like a running back draw play would have. We literally probably could have ran the ball straight down the field if they were playing that way. I don't get why at times Andy doesn't run the ball and why he's so content on not making the right adjustments at times. And this is the same. Honestly, it's the same thing that happened with the Bengals the first time around, just more egregious. We scored, I think, 30 points. I can't remember the score the first time, but we were up a good amount in the first half, and they came back and they beat us because we only scored 3 points in the second half of that game too. So it's just like this is the same team. Now I don't know if they were playing single high safety the first game, but I mean, my God, the defense played well, but they're not known for being stout. Move the ball, Jesus. Not advocating that Andy Reid get fired, but goddamn it, he needs a slap across the goddamn face.
Dang.
That's it, man. Rant over. We let it all out. Congratulations to Joe. Yeah, that's about it. Also, fuck Eli Apple. I don't. Yeah, that's the last. That's the last part. Fuck Eli Apple. I listen. I don't know. He was getting burned all game. He drops a game-ending pick, and you have the nerve to talk. Oh, you been past, man. Listen, what number of team is Eli on right now? 5, 6? Is he going to be on the Bengals next year?
3.
I doubt it. Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
Tell us how you really feel. Tell us how you really feel, Chris.
I think that is I think I'm really done now. Also, it's his third team, so I overreacted a little bit.
Yeah, third team.
You know, I'm really done this time.
That was eventful.
Well, yeah. Moving on. I guess moving on to the next game. 49ers versus the Rams. You know, how you guys feel about that game? The 49ers lost to the Rams. Was it 20 to 17?
Mm-hmm.
Rams staged a comeback effort. What are you guys' thoughts?
I'm gonna go last.
Okay, I'll go first. Baker looks terrible. Baker looks terrible, man. Oh, he looks so bad. He looks so bad. Oh man, Odell looked amazing. That boy, hey, him and Cooper Kupp, that looked special in that comeback effort, man. That was beautiful to watch. Matthew Stafford silenced the critics. I don't want to hear no more about anything from Matthew. About any negative, I should say. And Jimmy G is what Jimmy G is. Good quarterback. Is he going to win games for you? Probably not. And yeah, that's really what it is. The most talented team, in my opinion, won. The Hollywood team that won. They put this team together to make a run for the Super Bowl, and now we're here. They went all in. They got Von Miller. Went all in. Got Odell. So yeah.
I mean, I really can't add too much to that. I mean, I'm not a fan. I'm not the biggest fan of Jimmy G. I mean, apparently he's a good regular season starting quarterback. He's made multiple conference championships. He's been in a Super Bowl. Not that bad, but
I mean, he's good. Yeah.
The better team won. Good comeback. Stafford got the monkey off his back. Good for him. Jimmy G did a Jimmy G thing. Had a bad time. He threw a bad pick, and that was it.
Yep.
I'm happy for. You know what? As much shit as Odell gets, I'm happy for him too. Gets to play in a bowl. Deserves it. He's been playing really well since the trade to the Rams. Cam Akers didn't fumble.
Somehow he still got the majority of carries. I don't know how that happened.
I thought he was not had that many carries, but
man.
I mean,
they said no. We don't care. Sony Michelle, they must not miss Sony.
And I mean, other than what you said, I just said, and after never happening for the second year in a row, somebody gets to play in front of in their home stadium in a Super Bowl, even if it's not going to be all their own fans.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. Outside of anything that I could have said about this game, I'm I already covered it. But this is just something that I need to get off my chest, just in general. I don't know. I don't know who's gonna see it, but I need to get it off my chest. Stop going to Lions Post or just your own Twitter in general, your Instagram, your Tumblr, your Reddit, any of your outlets, right? Stop going over there saying we need to sell the team. Stop going over there saying it was us and not Stafford. We already know why Stafford didn't win here. Stop trying to toot your own horn and make it seem like you know what's going on when you really don't. And just look, I wish this is the thing. Lions fans are happy for Stafford. I'm pretty sure the majority of because I am a Lions fan, and I'm very happy for Stafford. I know why he didn't win over here. His prime years, he had Calvin. That's it. Prime years, like 2011. That should have been our year, but that's another day. Point is,
That's the Cowboys loss.
Yeah, like we got hold by the refs like that.
You definitely got hold. I remember that game.
We were really giving the Cowboys that smoke, and they was like, nah. We don't get ratings off the Lions. What? Ratings? No, like we're not doing that. But
it's like Calvin's better, but Des throws up the X.
Would you want to see Stafford or
Oh my God,
Romo? Like, really think about this here, guys. Like, come on. The guy who gets sacked that falls to the shoulder, like, come on. Like, we comes the other guy. But yeah, that's my main thing. I just wish us as a fan base would be nicer about a lot of things, or not even nicer, but more reasonable about a lot of things. Rams are a really good team. I'm not gonna say really good. They're a great team. They're a team that, like, when I go into Madden and I load up franchise mode, I try to get Aaron Donald and Odell on the same team. Matter of fact, if Von Miller's still there after round 3, I'm picking him too. That's the type of team they have. If you get Ramsey in free agency like 3 years later down the line and everybody still got the X factors, you get him too. This is the type of team that they got right now. No one's taken away from the fact that this Rams team is built very, very solid. Then you got Leonard Floyd, other guys you don't even talk about. And they brought Eric Weddle out the wheelchair. He's making tackles. That's another story. This team is good. But stop tearing down another organization that is obviously trying to rebuild its image. Because everybody knows why Stafford didn't win. It's not a conspiracy. It's not something that they swept under the rug. Sheila, Dan, everybody knows. It's not a mystery. Stop doing it. Just wear your Lions jerseys to California if you're going to the game, or if you're already in California. You might not want to wear your Rams number 9, wear your Lions number 9. Wear your Georgia number 9 if you got it from that far. Do what you have to do to make yourself feel better. But again, I'll get into it later, but just like in a general sense, win or lose, just be happy that you've seen him on the brightest stage at some point in your lifetime. Just be happy. That's it. That's all I gotta say.
Right. Well, then we'll move right into it, like you kind of said, right into the Super Bowl predictions. Can I go first again? Yeah. Or is somebody else gonna take it first?
You're good. You want?
Oh, that sounds like me. I got the Rams, man. I like Joe, but it just in my mind, can there be a third team to sell the game? I mean, shit. Like Tannehill throws 3 picks, we shit the bed. Are the Rams gonna choke too? I mean, fuck. Like, are the Bengals just a team of destiny right now? Like, they've been the worst team the last 3 matchups, and somehow, some way,
it does.
not really of their own. I guess validity, not more so than the attrition of the other team. They pull it out. So, I mean, I would like to say the Rams, but I mean, shit. If you would have told me last week that the Chiefs would be up 21-3 before the first half, I'd be like, oh, well, then where's the Super Bowl party at? You know what I'm saying? Hey. So, with all that being said, I will take the Rams for the same reason that I took the Chiefs. I think the team is significantly better. And this is also, I mean, I think the weapons are better as well, honestly. I mean, I love Jamar, but Jamar ain't better than Cooper, even this season, where he's having a great season, and then Odell as well. So, and then obviously the defense, I would imagine, as much as I like Chris Jones, I don't think Joe's getting away from Aaron Donald. If he put a hand on you, you might be going down. That's arguably one of the best at his position. Chris is a all pro, but Aaron is Aaron. That's a different type of dude. So, I mean, they have a better secondary than ours. They probably have a better pass rush than ours. Run defense may be a little worse. Maybe, I'm not really sure. I don't know. Kind of. Maybe it's a toss up. But I'll take the Rams, man. Again, like I said last week, barring cataclysmic disaster, I don't think that the Bengals can beat the Rams. So yeah. And my reason.
I'm on the train.
You on the Joe train?
Rams are going to make enough mistakes. Bengals are a team of destiny. Bengals are winning the Super Bowl.
Come around?
It's so crazy because like when was the last time we've seen a team of destiny off of other teams' mistakes? It's not something you see often.
Oh.
Well,
Even the Raiders, the Raiders game, he threw a pick.
Yeah,
I could see. I could see something similar where the Rams start out hot, the Bengals are, on their heels. They might be in trouble, and then they bring it on. The Rams make a couple mistakes. The Bengals capitalize, and in a close game, the Bengals win.
Do you think that Sean McVay is gonna have his head up his ass the way that Andy did? That's a real question. If you think that I really believe if like Stafford were to have a similar like second half to Mahomes, I think that Sean doesn't have a problem running the ball. Sean likes to run the ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he really does. He likes. I think he has a well balanced like affinity for offense. He likes to pass. He likes to run. Whatever's working, whatever intuitive. He doesn't have a problem with it. So, I mean, I don't know. If they're averaging 5 to 6 yards a carry, then they are going to be running that ball.
Oh, most definitely.
And I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that Jared McKinnon and Clyde are necessarily better than Cam Akers and Sony Michel. I mean, they're kind of. I would say it's a toss up. So.
Especially Cam Akers, he loves toss ups.
Yeah. One's a vet, Sony Michel, Jared McKinnon, and then the other two. I mean, was Cam Akers a first round pick or second or third round? Either way, he was definitely like high up on the running back list.
I think he may have been a second or a third. I think.
Yeah, so I mean, the running backs kind of wash out to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's second round of 2020. So yeah, pretty comparable. And then I think that they're gonna put Jalen Ramsey on Jamar. That's gonna be a great matchup to see. That's I would see that because you have Ramsey, so like they're not gonna, at least off rip. I don't think they're gonna show the amount of attention that the Chiefs did because we know like our DBs are like average to some of them below average. So like we really made a point to like really emphasize taking Jamar out. But with the Rams, it's like you got the best cornerback in the league, arguably. See if he can just, stick him out there, see what happens. I would, yeah. Mm-hmm. See that.
But honestly, I'm probably going to stick to my guns. Honestly, as much as
I expect that.
But as much as Stafford is my guy, I'm happy he's in the bright lights. He has home field advantage this time, actually. So in this case, he has home field advantage. But the Bengals, I've picked the Bengals for the last 3 rounds that they've played of football, and
you have,
and they've almost lost. They almost lost in the last one. I'm not gonna lie.
You treading water every time.
Yeah, but at this point, it's like you said, it's their team. Their team. The fate has been on their side for a lot of these games, and they haven't been the prettiest endings either. It's couple three and outs. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a pick. You might just end the half. Only 3 points, but they somehow still managed to pull things out, which is why I think, and even in this case, going back to the Niners and Rams game, the Rams almost somehow managed to lose a game to primarily just Debo and Brandon Ayuk. Well, like slightly, and then you sprinkle a little bit of George Kittle. They almost lost that game. And
that defense is real.
Then they tightened up. So chances of choking not too far off. I wouldn't even say like mad choking. I'd probably say like Cam Akers. Cam Akers still has Butterfingers. I don't know how he had 12 carries, 12 or like 11 carries the last game. I don't trust him to carry my kid at this point. Like, I don't know what he drops, or I don't know what else he'll probably drop. But
I wouldn't give him a loaf of bread.
Yeah, I wouldn't give him. I wouldn't give him my most expensive plate to put in my china cabinet at this point. Like that's just what it is. So sticking with Joe Shiesty, sticking with Burrow, Big Burr. You know what I'm saying? And if this is that year, where also I wanted to point out, this is the youngest coaching matchup in Super Bowl history. I think Zach Taylor is 38 and McVay is 36. History is already being made by just these two coaches playing against each other in the first place. But if Burrow and Chase are able to bring a ring to Cincinnati, the sun might shine a little bit brighter on that Monday. Like the birds are gonna chirp a little bit louder. The streets of Ohio might be a little messy because they finna go dummy. They finna go crazy. The bars might be closed going past that weekend. The weekend after the game, like it's gonna be closed after that. Don't need so much time to close.
What about the streets of Detroit, PTP? Don't you care about the streets of Detroit?
Chris, we've been raging in the streets for years. I don't think this game. I don't think this game specifically threatens this. I don't think it threatens the neighborhoods as much as, if anything, based off of what I've been seeing on social media, I kind of want them to lose at this point because everybody just wants to act like now all of a sudden they see Matthew Stafford's great arm talent and ability to win games like he hadn't been here for 10 to 11 years. Like I'm tired of it. Like y'all need to get brought down to earth. And if it happens to be Joe Burrow, then by all means, so be it. So be it.
Okay.
Yeah, my Stephen A. moment real quick. Had to have my moment.
Anything else on the bowl game, fellas? On the Super Bowl?
Any score predictions, G? Double digits?
No, I'm not doing the double digits thing again.
I had to check.
Christ.
I had to make sure. Hey.
Uh 31-27.
Who?
Bengals.
The Bengals?
This had a bad one to rock with. I ain't gonna lie. I do see it as a high scoring game though. I probably couldn't pinpoint a set. I do picture both teams going over 20. If the game is as high paced as I think it'll probably be, or it could be a defensive slugger.
Yeah, no, I don't think that the Bengals defense is good enough to hold the team. So I think I definitely see both teams going over 20.
Yeah, but I think because most cases, like both sides have like a nice wide receiver duo. Rams obviously win the tight end matchup. In this case, running back, like you said, they kind of even out, and then defense, Rams definitely have that as well. But the Bengals are, for as undermanned as you would think they would be, like they still get a lot of good pressure. Hubbard plays well, Hendrickson plays well, Bell was a good pickup, like Logan Wilson. Like it's gonna be a game that it's gonna surprise a lot of people as far as like how competitive they might think it'll be.
I agree. Well, I guess our last topic for the day, just a quick little tidbit, are the coaching hires. So, who do we have? Who's been hired so far, or who's been expected to be hired? We have Josh
Brian,
McDaniels for
the Raiders.
Brian Dable.
Dable with the Giants.
Yep.
Matt Eberflus with the Bears. Nathaniel Hackett with the Denver Broncos. And I think so far that might be about it. A lot of teams are still like interviewing.
Yeah.
But
did you guys say the Bears already?
Yeah, with Eberflus.
Yeah, Eberflus, yeah. And he's trying to bring that whole defensive staff with him if possible. So
what coaching hire do you guys like the most? Which one do you think is gonna have like the best impact on the team? Like, who got it right?
Well, until more holes are filled in the coaching carousel, as it were. I'm going to say Eberflus,
Mm.
especially if he brings that staff and tries to mimic that Colts defense in Chicago with the division the way it is right now. It could be a quick turnaround, and he wants to get a creative offensive coordinator and build around Justin Fields' strengths and give him the right kind of weapons to build around, his style of play. Yeah, I like the fit. Maybe Bears go back to being a nasty defense, but then now they have a quarterback with a quality arm. I'm not going to say it's up there with the best, but a quality arm who can run, get creative on offense. Bears could turn it around, man. I like it. I like the hire.
BCP.
Surprisingly, I'd say Josh McDaniels with the Raiders. Overall, from seeing his
I knew you'd say that. I knew you'd say that.
I mean, I think the same thing.
I would say like from the interview that they conducted of him like introducing himself and talking about what he wants to do as the leader of the team. He mentioned that when he coached the Broncos that he wasn't ready for it, which I feel like is great. Is a great showing of accountability because as everyone knows, like that's why people were so hesitant to give him another head coaching gig because of way it's. He started off good 6-0, then he finished like 11-17 as over the stretch of like those the next season that he coached for him. But this Raiders team, more or less, need a leader for one. They're desperate need of a leader. They just came off a playoff game where obviously you could tell there's a lot of things that still need to be fixed. Like, they need to fix the receiving core. Defense might need a little couple tweaks here and there. They lost key people over the stretch of the season. So a guy like McDaniels, who has Super Bowl experience, took a step back from even trying to be a coach, I assume, and just really wanting to settle back into like his coordinating gig. I feel like he's ready now to actually be that coach that people thought he was going to be. He first got hired by the Broncos, coming off of once again successful Patriot runs. Like I think he'll be better suited for it now.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, like I said, I agree with PTP. I also want to point out, I feel like Derek Carr is a franchise quarterback, and when you have a franchise quarterback, I'm not saying like he's like the top echelon, but I believe he's top 10, and if he's not top 10, he's knocking right there at the door. When you have that guy, it makes everything easier. So like, 2009 he had Kyle Orton, who's not a bad quarterback, I guess, but like he wasn't viewed as a franchise guy. I don't know how much of the needle he was moving it. But yeah, I think Josh would be solid. I think he'll be able to bring some of that offense that he was running with some of their sets with New England. I think he'll probably get his personnel. I think he'll try to mimic some of the things that they've done over so many years. I mean, they've done so many different things at certain times, but I think he's going to bring some of that to the Raiders. And like PTB said, they do have to address some issues. Obviously, their receiving core is in shambles, honestly. But yeah, they got to address that. And then just to touch on that Chicago hire, I'm not so sure how I feel about it. I really didn't think that they should have went for a defensive head coach. I think they really should have went as for the head coach position to get like an offensive guy. I mean, that's really what's running the league. You look at the teams that's still in it. You look at the teams that just got knocked out. I mean, they're all offensive guys. So
yeah, I think that's a fair point. A lot of the defensive coaches don't seem to be so willing to like defer to their offensive coordinators, their passing game coordinators, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if you get the right guy who will do that, I think it could be something that really works out. And I just I have a feeling, based on his experience in Indy, he'll do that. I think he'll get himself an offensive coordinator that will play to the strengths of his quarterback and get the weapons he needs to tailor the offense around him. And I think he'll allow the offensive coordinator to have the responsibility to call the plays, and he can focus on running things, getting the defense back to being what you would think a Bears defense would be, because that's what the Bears defense seems to have always been. I mean, for the better part of my lifetime, the Bears always seem to have a good defense, but a powerhouse defense. I just think he's going to do that. I just see it. I think he's going to get him an offensive mind that will be creative, will play to the strength of his quarterback, his running back, his new tight end, all that, and he'll allow him the responsibility of calling the play. That's what a lot of these defensive guys don't do. They don't give their offensive coordinators the responsibility of calling the plays. They feel like they need to do it themselves, and the offenses lack creativity. I don't think that's going to happen in this case. I don't. I have a strong feeling that he'll get somebody in there that will come up with a creative offense to work around field strengths, get the right players in there to complement, and he will let him do his job, and he won't interfere so much. I mean, all coaches do in some way, shape, or form. I'm not going to say he won't, but some do too much, especially defensive guys. From what I gather on him, I don't think he's necessarily that type. So I think it'll work out. And trust me, I'm no Bears, I'm no Bears guy, but I see it. I like the fit. I do. I see it. So
Gotcha. Well, I think that completes our slate for today.
Wait, there's one more thing.
Any notes?
Just like from a general sense, the whole Brian Flores stuff that happened earlier, where he's filing a lawsuit over production of the one of his more recent interviews when it came to the Giants head coaching job, I believe, where Bill Belichick kind of thought he was texting Brian Daboll, basically kind of informed that the Giants had already been picking Daboll before Flores even showed up to the venue, which could count as tampering or just not giving him a fair shake from the jump. And I kind of wanted to just know, not really from the sense of like, would you categorize it as racism, but you think a coach finally like kind of sticking his neck out for the unjust like approach of like how minority coaches are given opportunities, or like how sometimes they get written off before they even get there. You think that might shake it up moving forward, or it's just one of the things that'll blow over?
I don't think it'll blow over, but he'll never coach in the NFL again, and he knows that. He made a decision to do what he thought was right.
Yeah.
I think it's undoubtedly bias and bigotry and racism in this environment. I mean, all the owners are older
white men.
Yeah, I mean that's just what it is. So it's just like, we all knew that when the Rooney Rule was enacted that this was going to be coming eventually. You know what I mean? Like, we're just going to bring him in to cross it off. We're not really going to hire this guy, even though he's honestly more qualified than a lot of the other candidates. So what's the difference? Yeah. Why is he not hired? It was kind of a similar thing that I was thinking of when Eric Bieniemy wasn't being hired. It's just like, he's more successful than the previous two offensive coordinators that were hired from Andy Reid's tree, but he won a Super Bowl. So why is he not a head coach? Why is he not getting a chance to be a head coach? Not even a fair shake. So I mean, it's unfortunate. The Broncos, the Broncos thing, I thought was, especially if that was true, that's especially unacceptable. Like, they're showing up hour late, drunk. Like, if that's true, then my goodness, man, come on. But I mean, I commend him for taking a stand and sacrificing his career to do what he thinks is right, because we all know the likeliness of him coaching again is close to zero. We've been We've been down this road literally before. Maybe it might turn out better just because he's had success more recently, whereas opposed to like Kaepernick, they all painted him out to be like, well, the last time he played, he was ass.
Yeah.
Even though the team was just a mess. But last time Brian coached, they didn't have a losing season, so maybe, but I don't know.
Mm.
I'm interested to see how it goes though.
I think. I mean, I agree. I hate to parrot your sentiment, but pretty much everything you said is pretty much spot on. It's the. Do I think there might be? Because the NFL seems to be like this. I think there would be a change for the temporary to sort of.
Right.
I hate to say to soothe feelings or all however you want to say it, to soothe but at the end of the day, I don't know. I think the real change is going to come when the league allows, by hook or by crook, yes, what and more African American owners. Like,
yeah,
that's when they're, yeah.
I mean, there's been people over the years that have been linked to either joining groups or trying to doing things of that nature to get into those ownership circles, at least at a majority level. But I don't think most of them have really been enacted. I mean, I know there's a lot more ownership. I feel like in the NBA as opposed to the NFL of like African Americans. Like Usher owning some of the Cavs, Dwayne with the Jazz. But yeah, I mean, just to touch on what you said, Gramps. I mean, it was the same thing with the Rooney Rule when they enacted that. There was a change for a little bit, and it lasted for a while. But here we are, back where we are with two non-white coaches, one black coach, and one being. I mean, make sure I'm not incorrect. Well, I forgot his name. What's your team's coach names? What's his name?
Rivera.
Yeah,
Ron Rivera.
Ron Rivera. Is he Hispanic?
At least partially. Pretty sure.
Yeah. So those are the only two non-white coaches in the league, and I don't know. Like I said before, I mean, it literally just doesn't make any sense. I feel like a large majority of coaches are former players, former something of the NFL, and if the NFL is majority African American, like 80%, then the talent pool or the coaching pool or the pool of just people available to do the jobs would represent that, and it just doesn't. And obviously, that doesn't.
Yeah, the Rooney Rule was basically a Band-Aid on a bullet wound.
Yeah.
And now
they don't even really. They just found a way to kind of put a piece of paper over it. Not even a Band-Aid, just a piece of paper.
Yeah, I really do think, as sad as it is, it's I think that's where the real change will come, and the change will happen is when there are more African American owners in the league. And to be honest with you, I'm surprised there aren't. But once there are, that's when you'll see the shift, and that's when the league will. I hate to use the word to be forced to change with the times and do the right thing, because they're just throwing money at problem after problem. They're just throwing money at it.
And it's when you look at like other leagues like the NBA, who have I don't know. I think it's a little less than half, but it's several black coaches who are all qualified. Some of them are having success, some of them aren't. But I mean, that's not really that shouldn't really be the justification. If they're qualified, then they should get a shot. They represent an accurate talent pool of the majority. So you got guys like I'm pretty sure they're all former players. Probably Ty Lue, Monty Williams, Doc Rivers. I don't know if JB Bickerstaff or Dwayne Casey played,
Those
but
are probably the only two exceptions, I think.
yeah, I'm pretty sure Steven Silas played ball.
They're probably collegiate, yeah.
So I mean, yeah. So it's just like I don't know, but the NBA obviously is way is light years ahead as far as being a progressive league, and like in the NBA it's about the player, in the NFL it's about the shield.
Plus, even just to go like even higher up, honestly, like as much as Adam Silver kind of has his gripes as well with him being like the face of like what goes on and what runs and stuff like that. The Clippers had their situation with their owner and just the disrespect of like staff and other players. They nixed him immediately.
Yeah, he moved quick.
Like Roger Goodell is like.
He's friends with all of them.
Yeah, it's that, and he's like that little kid, or like he's like that school principal that that will keep seeing the same two kids every week, and the issues just progressively get more and more worse. He just tries to find ways to like solve the problem without one of them getting suspended. The actual problem never leaves the school ever. Like I feel like that's what it is when it comes to. I don't know if he's scared, just like put his foot down and be like, okay, like we need to progress as people. Or if he's like I said, like if he's just as corrupt as the John Elways, who if he showed up drunk to a meeting with a head coach who's gonna have to lead your team, like the Nathaniel Hackett hire. I mean, is it really because they want to get Aaron Rodgers, or is it something bigger than that? Like at that point, his hire doesn't even seem like it makes that much sense anymore. So if he doesn't coach again in the league, I mean. At least you can say he went out with a purpose. He went out with something that mattered to him, and nothing changes. Then I mean, the fan base of NFL is already dwindling. Like it's very much dwindling, just because people hate Goodell. It's a lot of other things deeper than that. But this might be something that it might not leave that big of a dent, but I hope it'd be like a wake up call for them. To some extent. I just hope it would be one.
Oh, at least the NFL is going to pay for this.
Oh yeah, it's gonna. Yeah. I mean, come Super Bowl time, it's gonna look terrible. When the halftime show happens and you got Dr. Dre and Kendrick and Snoop Dogg and everybody, you can partake in the culture of black people, but you can't hire black people.
And then not even mentioning like that halftime show might just get a whole renovation
with Kendrick and Dre and all of
that. Like you picked the wrong people to put on your halftime show if you want to just disrespect some black people. Like these guys are gonna show up, probably hit up their dancers and everybody and say, "Nope, we're changing it. Nope, doing this now, just to prove a point." It's bigger than them at this point. Like it's halftime show might just be what they use to make an example.
All very, very interesting stuff, for better or for worse, obviously, but definitely some things that we'll be keeping our eye on moving forward. I think that does it for our show. Follow us at Going for Three Pod on all social platforms, all streaming platforms as well. You can listen to us on Going for Three Pod. And you can follow all of these great men here at their individual tags. Me at Christy Collins on Instagram and Twitter. Where can you guys be followed
at Tony the Real on Twitter.
At PTP_99 on Twitter, the K Cunningham enthusiast.
I was gonna say, make sure you get that whole name in there.
Can't miss it.
But thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.